Hello and welcome to part 25 of Life is Your Journey. Part 25 is about soul loss. My name is Bhavna Mistry and I am the heart-centered mentor, bringing to you Life is Your Journey, part 25. What is soul loss? When I say soul loss, what am I referring to in fact? What do I mean by soul loss? Because a soul is one bit of wholeness. How can you lose that wholeness? When I say soul loss, I'm referring to something in your life that's caused a trauma of some sort. This trauma is something you really don't want to remember. You really don't want to re-experience. That you completely block it off from your life. You block off the whole experience. You shut it down, you hide it, and you disguise it as something else so that you never have to look at it again. This happens in a lot of situations where there's been abuse, there's been a tragic accident, where there's been rape, there's been murder. Any of this kind of stuff brings a level of deep-seated trauma which we never want to experience again. And that's when soul loss happens. Because that part of you that was living fully present in that moment, you've shut off. You've said goodbye to it. You've kind of drawn a line across it, hidden it, covered it, painted over it. Now it looks like a nice ray of sunshine with blue skies and birds flying and everything looks nice. You've covered up that, let's call it a painting. You've covered up that scenario with something that feels nicer. So with soul loss, it's always harder to identify what is missing in your life. And also, it's something you actually don't want to go into. You don't want to enter that part of your life as a result of the trauma it gave you at the time, the decisions you made at the time, the thoughts that you experienced, the emotions that you experienced. Everything that was built into that period, you've hidden it for a purpose. Identifying soul loss is actually very difficult for yourself. And the reason that is because there's some kind of understanding within yourself that whatever you've done is okay. So all these years of doing spiritual stuff, I came across the term in spirituality of being nothing. Now, nothingness on a spiritual level means everything. Yet nothing on a material level means I am nothing. So I was quite happily being nothing as a person following this path, because emptiness and being nothing is a concept of energy which is positive. But you got to remember to translate that back into the material life that you're living, because you're experiencing life through the material. And then I had to understand that actually I was losing a part of my soul, not because I was hiding from it, but I had covered it up with the spiritual concept of being nothing. So that's not a trauma, but this is an example of how it can work. Trauma can happen at a young age. You might have fallen down the stairs and you might have a fear of stairs. You might have fallen into the swimming pool. You've never learnt to swim. what you need to do is you need to identify what your trauma, what it is in life that you're being blocked by. So if you can't go swimming, then you need to tackle why you can't go swimming. If you're afraid of heights, you need to tackle why you're afraid of heights. And usually, by stepping into that period where the trauma happened in a safe environment, you can actually tackle the energy and transform it. So when I work with somebody on a one-to-one basis and I'm helping them step back into that energy, that space of where they experience the trauma, yes, part of them doesn't want to go there, but the reason they've come to me is they also want to deal with it. And creating a safe environment to work with is what's needed for you to feel safe and secure in order to release and transform and bring positive energy back into your life. Because at this point, you're going to be dealing with that energy and deal with all thoughts, feelings, emotions around it in order for you to get and integrate that part of you that you lost. This is often called the inner child work, because it's the inner child that is often lost in these situations. That innocence needs to be brought back out. That liveliness needs to be brought back out. That person that makes you part of your wholeness is who you need to bring back. Because whilst you cover it up with a nice painting over the trauma, that trauma lives inside you and it's still affecting your life experiences and still affecting how you go about living life. You will create a block somewhere along your life as a result of that, and you will be completely unaware of it because you've covered it up. Soul loss is worked on lots of different levels in lots of different streams. I first came across it in shamanism, and in shamanism it's about the practitioner going off to bring the soul parts, bringing that age back, bringing that child back, bringing the gift back, and helping you integrate the energy into the body. You can do this through timeline therapy as well. So what I do is I use a combination of timeline therapy and energy integration work, which I've learned through my shamanic techniques, to help you really bring the energy back whilst you're with me. And at the same time, we integrate that energy into the body so that it becomes part of your energy, as opposed to you learning to work with it slowly, step by step. You've already integrated it, that it then starts becoming part of who you are, so you can go out there and do what you need to do. And that's what soul loss is. That's another form of block. It's a deep-seated block related to some kind of trauma, and it could be really simple, like what I explained about my spiritual journey, or it could be a really serious trauma that you experience as a child, even as an adult. That's the end of soul loss in this video. If you want to know more about soul loss, do get in touch with me and we can have a chat in the first instance, because we can work through any issues that you might have. So if you do want to, do get in touch. I wasn't planning to say that, but it's an important part of who we are. So I would love for you to feel your wholeness again. That's the end of part 25, which is soul loss. So I have to decide what I'm going to talk about next. There's a few more subjects. Maybe we'll talk about the form of entities, where energies take a life form of their own, in part 26. That's the end of part 25. My name is Bhavna Mistry. I am the heart-centered mentor, bringing to you Life is Your Journey. What is soul loss? We've just completed. Next part, let's look at energy taking identities of its own in the form of entities. See you in the next video.